1,000 years ago, superstition and the sword ruled. It was a time of darkness. It was a world of fear. It was the age of gargoyles. Stone by day, warriors by night. We were betrayed by the humans we had sworn to protect, frozen in stone by a magic spell for 1,000 years. Now here in Manhattan, the spell is broken, and we live again! We are defenders of the night. We are gargoyles.
Hey guys, Civil Alert here, back again with another review, and today I am super duper again, just cause stoked to be bringing you a review of the NECA Toys Disney Gargoyles Ultimate Goliath figure. I mean, what a way to come back, right? I had to take a bit of a break. Really just to get ahead, because I was uploading videos I had just recorded the day prior, and it was just starting to get a bit tedious. It's too much, okay? I was getting burnt out. I needed a break to catch up, try and get ahead. For the most part, I did that. For the most part. But to come back with this, again, oh, man, it's been a long time coming, man. This was supposed to be out, back in July, but because of shipping delays and lack of this or that and whatnot, it was delayed by like 3 months, which is one day too many, dang it. So, now that we finally got him in hand, I'm going to give you guys an in-depth review of this guy, because as far as I know, I'm the biggest Gargoyles fan I know. I'm going to do this the right way. All you other guys doing reviews out there, you're doing good. But this is the right way. And I don't say that often, so take that with a grain of salt. But before we get into it, I want to give a quick shout out to the local friend who shall not be named for privacy reasons for picking me up this figure at the local Target, who has some kind of exclusive deal with this guy for about a month. I don't know how long that's going to be in play, because they just started getting him a couple of weeks ago. They were supposed to have him at the beginning of the month, but that obviously didn't happen because of da-da-da. So I don't know if places like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, or Walmart will have this guy this month. October is the time I'm uploading this video / recording it. Or if they'll have it maybe in November. We'll see. That said, if you want this guy, head to Target. They've been getting a lot of them. It's not a drought by any means. They had 7 of these up here. And my Target's the one Target on the face of the planet that didn't get any of the freaking Spawn stuff. So, you know, that says a lot right there. But getting him out of the way, let's talk about one thing here. This beautiful freaking packaging. Holy crap, this brings back so many vibes. This is straight up like the OG box art from the Kenner line / all the artwork for the promo stuff. Kind of reminds me of the poster board I got. It's Gargoyles art, man. It just is. The DVDs also have art like this. And the VHS tapes. This just brings it back, man. Totally 90s style Gargoyles art. It's got the logo down there. It's got Goliath with the cloak wings on top of a gargoyle. We'll talk about the cloak wings in a minute here. Then on the side you get some nice product shots of Goliath there. Like, if you can't tell this is Goliath, then all you see is black, because it's got Goliath plastered all over it. There he is again. Hopefully my review set is big enough for this, because, well, this is a massive box. And there is the back with a bio. The thing that gets me is modern day barbarians. They didn't really fight modern day barbarians, I would say. Unless you want to count the pack, maybe. But they're more like mutants and cyborgs. So there you go. And then, of course, in true NECA fashion, what the hell? You can open it up. And there's a pic of Goliath over there. And then, of course, he would be right here. So, for the time being, I am keeping this box. Because my dad, a.k.a. Mr. Brian, ordered one of these as well. From Big Bad Toy Store. Which I just want to mention, he's like $10 cheaper online than he is at Target right now. So, I don't know what's up with that, but I'm not going to wait all freaking year for this guy. I had to get this guy in hand. This is easily top 10 figures of the year quality. Maybe top 1. We'll see. He has his issues. We'll get into that, but I'm willing to bypass that, because this thing is freaking, I'll just say it, badass, man. It's an awesome figure. So, accessories. Well, there's actually 2 big things missing off this guy at the moment, but I'll explain that in a minute. Accessories. He comes with this very aggressive-looking head sculpt. I love that. I use that for the URL. I'm going to display him with the Stoic one, because I think the less Raging in the Cajun Kitchen heads are going to have a little bit more personality, versatility. I would imagine the trio are all going to be kind of like smiling all derpy and stuff, and that'd be kind of funny. But I do love this. This is sweet. This almost makes you want to buy 2 of them. I don't have space for that, but, the option is there. He also comes with a pair of punch-you-in-the-teeth hands. Just have simple pegs on them. They hinge up and down. So they got the appropriate hinge on there. Very, very nice. They even painted the thumb claw. I wasn't expecting them to paint the claws on this dude. That's a nice touch. Then he also comes with, not a turn your head and cough hand, but, good enough. But this hand is made for holding the jalapeno, which is an ongoing joke in the show. If you're familiar with Gargoyles in Season 2, I want to say it was like before the halfway point, but like right before then. It was before they went on the world tour. Goliath tries a jalapeno, and it's really hot, and he's all, jalapeno, and the episode ends. It's pretty funny, and instead of like saying, oh shit, or like, damn it, or what the hell, they say jalapeno. So, I think it's pretty funny. And it actually goes back to Mr. Keith David, the voice actor behind Goliath. I believe when he was excited or something, he always said jalapeno. Something like that. Because they remember hearing him say it in the recording booth, and they're like, can we use that? He's like, sure. So, just wholesome Gargoyles family fun there. But also, he comes with a book. I don't think this is the Grimorum Acanorum. For those of you who don't remember how to pronounce it, because it's not really in the public eye, I'll let that slide, because for a while I didn't know how to pronounce it. But I think the Grimorum was like a reddish brown. This looks blue to me. Maybe it's reddish brown, I don't know. I don't believe it's the Grimorum anyways, though. I believe it might just be a Shakespeare novel or some other book, because Goliath was always reading Shakespeare, so I want to say it's that. I think Demona comes with the Grimorum, because she was always trying to steal it. But the 2 things that are not on the figure at the moment that you're probably wondering, why aren't they on the figure? Well, they're freaking huge, and this is the meat and taters part of this review, so I want to be able to bring the figure close up to the camera and show you all the details and whatnot. And I can't do that with these attached to them. So the wings are not on the figure, but damn it if they're not awesome. I mean, these are impressive. Look at that. That's like a foot. Just one wing. I will say they are a bit on the fragile side. You want to be careful with these. I wouldn't say they'd break easy if he fell down, but, you know, you want to hashtag not break your toys. I think they're sturdy enough. They had to make them out of this plastic so they were light enough to not weigh the figure down a whole heck of a lot, but they still do. And it also has some nice tight ratchets here. Which I will tell you right now, if you are planning on getting this guy, heat these up, add a little soap, not to the pin itself, but to the hinge joint, and it makes the world of difference. It's still tight without being too tight to break anything. So there you go. And then we'll give you a look at the other one. It's the same, just mirrored. But they added a lot of texture on the inside. I love that. And then I love the fact that the back is black. Like in the show, the Kenner Gargoyles figures, I love them, but they did not have this black on the outside, which is inaccurate to the show. So I really do appreciate that. I thought this was going to be like the light purple on the outside, but it is not. It is straight black, and I love that. Adds to the whole cloak factor, which, let's talk about some things here. People have been saying this figure isn't accurate to the show, which I'm going to tell you right now, it's not. So if you want a 100% show accurate Goliath, wait, because we'll probably get that at some point, whether it's from NECA or Super 7 maybe, because they are also making Disney stuff. I don't know, but I would imagine that's coming some point in the future. This guy, however, looks a lot like the Slave Labor Graphics comics. Which, if you could see my phone there. See him right there. Let's zoom in on him, actually. Let me lift my glasses up for a sec. There he is. There's his face. That stern head looks a lot like that, doesn't it? And then if we go over, here's another image from that same comic book series. This is the 2006 comic run, again by Slave Labor Graphics. This was basically Season 3, if Season 3 was done right. Because, well, if you know any of the drama behind Gargoyles, you know what happened with Goliath Chronicles. But there you go. Oh, the phone turned off. I have it on low power mode because the battery on this thing sucks. But there you go. There's Goliath roaring. I'll zoom in on that. Get a better look at that. And then as far as the wings go, I know a lot of people are saying they take up a lot of space, and I get that. If you have very limited space, this is going to be a challenge for you, especially if you're a Gargoyles fan like I am. And here's the thing. I know people would prefer this as an option. The kind of cloak wing cape deal he's got going on here. But I think they should meet somewhere in the middle like this. It's kind of... They're spread out, but they're not splayed out all the way, you know? That would work better, I think, because you get the best of both worlds, I think. It wouldn't take up as much space, and it'd still look really cool on a shelf. Because the cloak wings, while they do save you a lot of space, they look boring. I'm sorry, but it's true. But taking a look at Goliath here. Getting up close and personal with him. Some people said his chest isn't broad enough. I think it's pretty broad. Maybe it could have been a little wider, but I don't mind it. I think it's fine. I think if anything, his belly seems a bit short. But that could just be the way the loincloth is sculpted. Might be perfectly proportionate. It's just the loincloth's throwing me off. That's probably all it is. But yeah, man, this thing is... This ain't figure of the year. I don't know what is. And I do have a couple of issues with it, but we'll get into that. Look at that head sculpt. That's Goliath, man. Look at that. Stern, stoic, poised, focused, determined. Looks freaking badass. But articulation on this guy, his head is on a double ball peg. It does rotate around. And it does look up and down a little bit. A little bit. It doesn't do a whole heck of a lot, but it does a little bit. Just a little bit. Shoulders go out to the side. About that far. They go back down. They do rotate pretty well. He's got a bicep swivel. He's got double joint at the elbow, which does allow quite a lot of range. But really, I don't need a double jointed elbow on this guy. It is a bit gappy too on top of that, but it's nothing too bad, I guess. But it could look a little cleaner. I like that they added the little spike on the back of the arm. That's a nice touch. Now, my problem with this figure lies in the torso. Okay. They gave him a diaphragm joint, which is cool. You know, it's more versatile. You can get more poses out of it. I get that. It's very generous. However, he's also got to deal with these. You know where I'm going with this? This thing's going to get loose over time. It's the nature of the beast. No pun intended. Okay, maybe a little bit. But this is just going to get loose over time. It's okay right now because I don't have the wings on it. But you can do all kinds of stuff with this and whatnot. It's fine. It works. It's completely... It's a decent diaphragm joint, okay? It's not that it's bad. It's just... It's too darn loose. And even if you get it tight out of package, it's gonna get loose. There's no avoiding that. The amount of weight on the wings is just gonna loosen this thing up. And unfortunately, there's no way to avoid that. It's got a nice tight waist swivel, though. But yeah, this diaphragm joint is not great. This could have been a lot better. Had they had done it maybe like Surtur from Marvel Legends, or I think they should just go with the Ratchet and Ab Crunch. I think this would be a problem we wouldn't have to deal with at all. So, you know, there's that. Take it for what it's worth. If yours is tight, just be careful with it. You don't want to loosen it up too much. But mine is a little bit loosey-goosey. My dad is getting one of these again. So we'll have to see if his is any tighter than this. But kind of doubt it. Just feel like people are okay with it being kind of bobbly like that. Now, as far as the hips go, it's a completely different story. Hear that? That's nice and tight. Kind of squeaky, so be careful with it. You don't want to break anything, especially this side. Listen to this. Listen to this sucker. Holy crap. Again, be careful. You don't want to break nothing, but those are not going anywhere. And then he's got nice in and out, too. Really squeaky again, though. He's got a thigh cut right up in there. He's got a single joint at the knee, as well as a swivel. Now, some people have had some loose leg issues. I haven't really had that problem. But again, if you're going to stand this guy up, you need to have the knee bent a little bit. Like, around there. Or, you know... You know, it's how they stand in the show. They don't stand with their legs straight like this. I've never seen them like that. If they did, I don't remember. But it's mostly like bent this far or bent this far. They're usually pretty bent. I like this far because it gives them a nice height. And then as far as the feet go, he does have a hinge in the foot. And a rocker, which does work pretty well. It is tight, too. And the feet, you know, there's some spots where it's looser than others, but it's not bad. And then he's got a hinge down here at the toe as well. And he also has a rotation down there, I believe. It's a quiver. It doesn't do a lot, but there is a little bit of adjustment in there. And then as far as the tail goes, you got to plug this into his butt when you get him out of the package. But it does work pretty well. It's got a hinge in there. And it does rotate. And then it's got a bendy wire on top of that. So, you know, it works pretty well. And if you're wondering about the hands, they just pull out easy like that. I'll swap a fist on just to show you. Because we're going to do that anyways. There you go. I can punch the crap out of Xanatos for being an asshole. So there you go. Awesome figure, man. I love this dude. His torso's loose as crap. I don't care for that, but, you know, I can deal with it, I guess. Have to see if my dad's is any tighter when he gets his in. If it is, maybe I'll do a swap. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. But there you go. There he is, standing, for the most part. But before we get into some comparisons, let me get the wings on this guy. We'll take a look at how he looks with those. And as promised, here is the big man himself with his amazing wings, which look fantastic on the figure. I mean, this is freaking cool, man, but gosh darn it, they take up a lot of real estate. This dude is barely fitting on frame. I mean, his feet are cut off, clearly. Just a tad, but you could see just the sheer size of these things. I have to move him, like, way out just to turn him here. But there you go. There's how they are on the back. I'll just hold him up here, because he's just going to fall down, because he was just leaning against the backdrop. You could see all the nice details and whatnot. And I would not suggest you turn these in the sockets. It's possible. They do kind of click into place, but you're going to loosen these up over time, and they're just going to fall out. So just take them out, turn them a little bit, or, you know, just pull them out of the socket just a little bit to where it's loose fitting, because you can do that as well. And just turn them to where you want them and plug it back in all the way. It's really easy to do, just a little bit of an extra step so you don't loosen the joints up or anything, because these are really massive, really heavy, and do add a lot of weight to the figure. And, you know, you still get decent range out of the hinge here with them plugged in. If I can get in here, you can move them around. Which, again, I did use some lubrication on the hinges here and a little bit of heat to loosen those up a bit. So, with that being said, so we got him fully assembled now. Let's take a look at some comparisons. First up, for a bit of a 90s comparison, here is Goliath next to the Marvel Legends Modular Armor Iron Man and the DC Multiverse Batman Beyond. This is, of course, the Target exclusive version without all the facial features. And as you can see, Goliath absolutely towers over most 6 to 7 inch scale figures. Up next, here he is next to the Super 7 Ultimate Conan the Barbarian. I believe this is the 1970s Marvel Comics Conan, if I'm not mistaken. It was a little bit more cartoony and, well, comic booky compared to the Arnold Schwarzenegger Conans we've been getting from Super 7. And I think he works really well with this Goliath figure. That'd be a pretty sweet crossover, right? Conan versus Gargoyles? Dang. Also, we have the Masterverse He-Man, as he appeared in the Masters of the Universe Revelation series, which I always thought Gargoyles was more or less Disney's answer to Masters of the Universe as opposed to Marvel or DC Comics, because those properties have a lot more characters, and since Gargoyles was always a bit of a mix of sci-fi and fantasy, I always thought it was more or less their answer to Motu, but, you know, I could be wrong. Next up, for a bit of a retro comparison, here's the new NECA Goliath next to the old Kenner Stone Armor Goliath, who, funny enough, also has trouble standing, so I guess some things never change, do they? But not only do we got him, we also have Brooklyn, Bronx, and Lexington in the house. And unfortunately, Brooklyn is a little bit too small to go with this Goliath. He was a smaller character in the show, but he wasn't quite that small. Same with Bronx. He was mostly small because of the fact that he was on all fours, but still, it's a little bit too small. However, I think Lexington scales really nicely with this new Goliath figure. he was really small in the show, kind of like a bat. So, you know, if you wanted a placeholder for Lexington until NECA makes one, it's a pretty good option right there. Just get him, maybe paint him up a bit, and throw him on the shelf. Look pretty cool, I think. But as far as that stone armor Goliath goes, as flawed as that figure is, I got it from a good buddy T-Biz, so it's very sentimental to me. So shout out to T-Biz. It was the first figure he ever sent me, so that will always be cherished and will forever be a part of my collection. That, and it's the most accurate Goliath from the Kenner line we've ever gotten, so there's that too. And last but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus and the Mortal Kombat 11 Spawn. Also voiced by Keith David, funny enough. So with that being said, no, wait, there's one more thing we have to do first. And here we have my top 3 favorite fictional characters from cartoons and comic books. We have Ghost Rider, Goliath, and Spawn. I mean, holy crap, man. Almost makes you want to cry. Of course, those of you eagle-eye viewers of the channel know that Ghost Rider was one of the original regulars for size comparisons. I since swapped him out for channel mascot Brother Mandibulus, but dang, man, this is a pretty sweet triad of awesome right here, if I do say so myself. So with that being said, I think it is now time we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and while I do really love this figure, and I'm excited that somebody is finally tackling gargoyles in the modern action figure market, I think NECA can make some improvements here, particularly in the torso. And while I do appreciate the fact that they tried to go above and beyond and give us a little bit more range with a diaphragm joint, I just think a ratcheted ab crunch is the way to go with these guys. Because of the amount of weight being put on that joint by the wings, it's just going to get loose over time. Even if you get a nice tight one out of package, it's the nature of the beast. No pun intended. Okay, maybe a little bit. It's something we're going to have to accept and deal with as time progresses. Now, if they were able to pull something off like the Marvel Legends Surtur I looked at recently, that had a really nice diaphragm joint that was nice and tight, I had no issues with that. I would be okay with that, but I think a ratcheted ab crunch is the way to go. And I know NECA's not really known for that, but I think it's something to consider for the gargoyle characters at least. I think the human characters will be just fine with the diaphragm joint because they don't have big arse wings hanging off their backs. Which is the other issue some people have with this figure. I don't mind the big wings. I think it looks freaking sweet. But I do understand that it takes up a lot of real estate. And again, the weight and the size, it's just going to make the figure a little bit loose in some places over time. So it would have been nice to get some alternate options, but I think we got enough for the price point, which is about 30, 40 bucks. 40 bucks because Target be tripping. I mean, what's up with that? First Faker's $10 more in the store than he is on the website. Now this. Oh, the insanity! But with that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if we get like the cloaked wings, or what I would prefer somewhere in the middle, open wings but they're not spread out all the way, and like a wing accessory pack or like a wing pack or something. That would be kind of cool to see. And maybe some specific stands for these guys, maybe ones that tuck right under their special place, if you know what I'm saying. That said, the other problem people have had with this figure that I really didn't have was some looseness in the legs. My hips are rock solid. I can't really speak for anyone else's, but mine, the hips are nice and tight, going in and out, forward and back. The knees and the feet, yeah, I could see those getting loose over time. My only suggestion for that is maybe put some ratchets down there as well, kind of like the creature replica werewolf figures, the Horror Hound and the Rougarou. Those had really nice, tight, ratcheted legs, and they have legs built just like this guy, the kind of arc foot, chicken leg, dog leg thing going on. And I haven't had any problems with them falling down due to loose joints. It's mostly been because they didn't have any rockers and they're a bit tricky to get flat-footed. This guy is a little bit easier to do that, so I haven't had really any issues. And the tail does help a little bit. And is the tail supposed to be that long? I don't know. The tail seems really long compared to what I remember in the show. But, you know, it's been a while since I watched the show. It's been a while. So with that being said, if you are willing to deal with the fact that this guy's a bit cumbersome to work with and takes up a lot of real estate, considering it is just one figure, and you are a huge Gargoyles fan like myself, I know I've said that many times in the past and probably throughout this review, I would highly recommend you pick this guy up. I think he is an awesome figure, and I'm super excited for NECA to make more characters from this line. We're getting Thalog in supposedly the 3rd release, so that's pretty cool. We've never gotten him before, and hopefully by the time he comes out, they'll fix some of the issues I had with this figure, because he does utilize the same base body. That said, I want more characters we've never seen before, like the Pack, Dr. Savarius, the Cat Mutates, the Gargoyle clans from across the planet, the freaking crazy folklore characters. This line could be insanely awesome, and I am so stoked that it's happening. I've waited a long time for this, and I gotta say, it met my expectations. Even with the issues I have, it's just stuff I kind of expected, and I'm not deterred by it at all. Bring it on, man. I'm ready. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and the notification bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. Got to show that algorithm who's boss, right? And as always, don't forget to hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions and leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of this guy, whether you want it, love it, or hate it. I know Gargoyles isn't for everyone, but it is my favorite show of all time, dethroning both Batman animated series and the Spawn HBO series. So it is very near and dear to my heart, and I am, again, super excited for this line. So as always, keep comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is, especially when it took this long to get a Gargoyles line in the modern action figure market. I mean, come on, man. We've had how many variations of Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers and all kinds of other popular 90s properties? Why did this one take so long, huh? Well, until next time, I'll catch you guys later.
You know, these are great. You should try one, Goliath. Jalapeno! 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 Jalapeno!